Hello everybody, it's me, it's your boy Jimmy, and I'm going to be ranking every single new map in Wave 1 of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass. Now I'm very excited for this, and I'm going to kick it right off with number 8. This should come as a surprise to no one. It's going to be Toad Circuit. This track is a heaping load of just meh. I don't feel strongly about it really one way or the other. It's just kind of boring and uninteresting. Out of all the circuit maps in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's one of the weaker ones for sure. And there are things about this track that I actually do kind of like. There's some good corner cuts you can take with shrooms. There's obviously the little trick you can go off of if you have a mushroom. Also the part with the paraglider, which makes it a bit more interesting, but it's still kind of boring, and the track layout is just standard Mario Kart circuit. And also I feel visually it looks the worst out of all these tracks. It looks the most tour-like and the most cartoonish, but that's just my opinion. You know, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I can take it or leave it. I wish something else was added in its place maybe, but Toad Circuit's number 8. Now we're moving on to number 7, and actually to my surprise, from here on out, I like every single one of these tracks, and I wasn't expecting to say that. But number 7 is Shroom Ridge, and I like this track a lot more than I actually thought I would. At first I'm like, why are they bringing this back? There's so many better DS tracks, and yeah, there are, but actually this isn't something I'm upset about anymore, because this is a pretty decent traffic map, and I'd rather play this over Toad's Turnpike. It's fun to play, first of all. I like how windy it is. I mean, it just makes it interesting and fun. The cars are a challenge, but not too challenging at all. It's not like Toad's Turnpike or Moonview Highway where they literally come at you. It's definitely a good difficulty where it's enough of an obstacle, but it's not like unplayable. And I don't know, I like it. I've always kind of liked this track a little bit because it has the feeling of a road trip in the mountains. It's nothing like spectacular, but for what it is, it's fairly well done. And number 6 for me would be Sky Garden. I really do like this track, and I think aesthetically it looks very cool. I'm definitely glad that they brought this track back, and you know, there are various things I really do like about it. I like the leaf that you can bounce off of. That is fun every time, and there's mushrooms to bounce off of. It makes the track a bit more interesting, but also the shortcut is awesome at the very end. I have taken first place in that many times, and I have only been playing the DLC for 2 days, so that is a good thing. That is a good shortcut, but you do need a mushroom for it to be very effective. However, I do have a gripe with this track, and it might have placed a little higher if the track was a little longer. It's not overly short, it's not unbearably short, but it feels like it should be a bit longer than it is, or it's a bit too simple. I mean, yet again, I like what's here. I just wish that there was just something a little more, just a little longer of a track, but still, this is a good one for sure. Coming in at number 5 is Tokyo Blur. I do like this track. It's a pretty good track. The thing I like about the tour track, surprisingly, is that sometimes each lap changes, and that's something that's really cool about Tokyo Blur, because each lap, in my opinion, is better than the last one. The first one is fine. The second lap gets even better with the thwomps you have to avoid. I thought that was a nice touch. And the third lap is actually pretty fantastic. I love how you have to go on the highway at the very end, and it comes more intense. There's the turns you have to take with the item boxes, and everyone's usually fighting their way to get to first in this confined little highway, and it's very nice. I liked it a lot. And then you paraglide over to the end, and this is definitely a solid track for sure. I don't have many complaints about it. I thought maybe the first lap was a little whatever. I could take it or leave it, but the track definitely gets better as it goes along. Number 4 is going to maybe upset some people, and I just want to explain myself, but it's Coconut Mall. I want to preface by saying I like this remake, and I like this track, and I'm happy it's in the DLC, and I have a good time playing it. However, it could have been better. I just hope that no one attacks me for saying that, because the original Coconut Mall is one of my favorite maps of all time in Mario Kart. It is just such a wonderful and charming map, and I feel like some of the charm has been taken out of it with this remake. It's still good. The basic layout is the same. The music's still slapping. I don't know, I just feel like there's certain things that I really liked about the original Coconut Mall that just aren't here. For one, the escalators. I know this isn't the end of the world that the escalators have arrows on them, but I kind of liked that you had to look in Mario Kart Wii and how hard it was. I don't know, it always kept you on your toes, and that's something that's kind of missing from this one. This track is in general just a lot easier. And the biggest thing of all, which if this wasn't the case, if the Miis and the cars and the speed boost were in this remake, I think Coconut Mall would be number 2 on my list, but they're not. They're replaced by stationary Shy Guys and cars. and I'm just gonna call it what it is. This is lazy. It is 100% lazy and disappointing. The Mii's and the cars with the speed boosts were iconic in Coconut Mall. They were a pain in the ass. They caused misery to so many kids in the late 2000s. And I guess they're just like some other background details that are missing, the archways when you exit the mall, and you know, just some things I would have liked to see. I feel like this might have been a little lazy, but that being said, like, you can't mess up Coconut Mall too much because it's still fun to play. It's still ranking number 4 on my list above Tokyo Blur, a track that I do honestly quite like. It's still a good map, and this Coconut Mall is better than no Coconut Mall, but it could have been better. Number 3 is Choco Mountain, and this was a track that I actually was surprised by. I liked it more than I thought I would, mostly because this track was more interesting than I thought it would be. I kind of saw it in the trailer and I was like, is this just like a mountain with chocolate that you ride around? Cool. But no, it's more interesting than that. You have the cave section with the diamonds that are very pretty, you have the little paraglider section, and you have the drift part where you have to avoid the huge heaping boulders coming down at you, and I've got hit by those multiple times. They are a great obstacle, and it's very fun to see your friends just completely fall off the track because of it. It's amazing. And I like the end where you can trick off the little bumps and try to get your way to the finish line. This is just a track that I quite like. It's more interesting than I thought it would be. I like the track layout. I like the drifts and the tricks you can do on this. It's a good map for sure. It's nothing overly too crazy, but for what it is, it's fairly well done. Now, number 2 and number 1 are honestly great tracks that I have no complaints with. I just want to start with that. These 2 tracks are probably some of my favorite new tracks in this entire game, and I'm very happy that they were added, and they were pretty interchangeable. I was like, oh, which one do I put above the other? But I think I've came to a conclusion, and I don't know if it's the popular one, but it's just my opinion. Number 2 is Ninja Hideaway. This is a fantastic map. I honestly was kind of blown away by it. This map makes you kind of feel like you're a ninja running on the roof of a building. It's fast, it's challenging enough, and it feels pretty rewarding sometimes. Obviously, aesthetically, this map is fantastic. I love the atmosphere of this map, and I've never seen a map quite like this in Mario Kart, but I love the multiple routes you can take. That's what makes this map pretty amazing. You can chill on the top of the entire map if you want, on the roof and whatnot, or the upper level, and it's really satisfying to do that. But also the bottom level has plenty of interesting things going on as well. I love the paraglider section where you have to get the item boxes, and the ending bit is challenging if you don't know the track layout, but that's what makes it pretty cool. The ending is where you feel like a ninja trying to race your way to the finish line, and I loved it. And coming in at number 1 is Paris Promenade. I know some people are going to be upset that I ranked this above Ninja Hideaway, but I adore this track. I think this track is fantastic. And I also want to state that I made a video talking about why I was nervous for this booster course pass, and I mentioned the art style as one of them, but I could not be more wrong about some of these tracks. Sure, some of them look more like Tour the Mario Kart 8, Toad Circuit, and it's kind of disappointing, and some look cartoonier than others like Coconut Mall, but Paris Promenade looks beautiful. This definitely looks more like Mario Kart 8 than it does like Tour, and I was very happy to see that. And in general with the Tour tracks also, I was afraid that Nintendo was going to be lazy with them, but that's actually far from the case. I love that the laps on these Tour tracks are different sometimes. It shows that Nintendo's putting effort into these tracks and it makes them way more interesting, but Paris Promenade is an absolutely fantastic track. There's so much I love about this track. I love that there's multiple routes you can take. There's also some little shortcuts like in the beginning with the 2 little piranha plants. If you have a mushroom, you can go straight through it, or at the end if you're in the 3rd lap, I guess. I love the atmosphere. It's just beautiful. Gave me better Delfino Square vibes in the beginning, and I love seeing all the little characters and whatnot, but when you paraglide and see that beautiful view of the Eiffel Tower, it's amazing. It's great. And obviously there's a part where you go under the Eiffel Tower, you can get the boost, you have to avoid the piranha plant, and the 3rd lap is awesome. It unlocks a different section of the track that you can paraglide off of, which is awesome, and then you realize you're going backwards, and it gives the track a whole new feel. So yeah, this track is amazing to play. Aesthetically, it's beautiful, and the music is awesome. The music for most of these tracks are awesome, but I think it especially stands out in Paris Promenade. So yeah, Paris Promenade is my number 1 for sure. I love this track, but most importantly, what do you all think? What's your ranking? Please comment below, and I'm going to share my overall thoughts on the DLC since the last video I made was me saying, oh no, I'm nervous for this. This DLC was good. I was nervous for sure, but some of these tracks were way better than I thought they would be. Not every track here, in my opinion, was like, yes, I'm so impressed, but most of them were good, and I was happy to see that. Do I wish that some of these tracks, Toad Circuit, looked better? Of course I do. Do I wish that maybe like Sky Garden was longer? Yes, I do. But I do like these tracks overall, and I am happy that Nintendo did put some effort into some of these tracks. So overall, I am a fan of this. However, However, I will say in the future, I really hope that we have at least a few tracks with anti-gravity sections, because it's a big part of Mario Kart 8, and it's fine that it wasn't in Wave 1. I really don't care. Not every track needs anti-gravity, but it's gonna feel weird if none of the 48 tracks have anti-gravity at all. But those are the only real gripes I could have with this. I am happy with these tracks overall, and I want to know what you all think. Please comment below, and subscribe for more Nintendo content. Peace.